about being here. But all right, how's everybody doing today? Hope everybody's doing well. I have first of all, welcome to the Chris and Caleb Team Live. My name is Chris Lagarde. I'm technically the Chief Operating Officer for the Chris and Caleb team. And today, as we had mentioned, we are going to be talking about inspections. And I have a really special friend joining us today. He's one of our top recommended inspectors. And his name is Ross Kennedy. And just to give you a little background, I've known him for quite a while and knew him before he was even an inspector. And the thing I really love about Ross is that I trust him highly. His opinion, his insights, his background definitely gives him a very good nose and knowledge for inspections. Also, he's very relational, which is the way that we like to do business. We like to build business through relationship. You're not just another number. Our mission at the Chris and Caleb team is to dramatically impact lives through real estate. And so we want to partner with other folks that are like us in that, and Ross is definitely one of those folks. So with that said, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself in 90 seconds to 2 minutes and give us a little introduction.
Sure. Yeah, my past, of course, prior to this is very eclectic, but it involves psychology and ministry and construction and a whole lot of other things, including sales. And I think really what drives my interest in what I do is the end result. And the end result for me is that I've helped people, like you've said, with your mission, improve their lives through real estate. And the way I get to do that is two parts for me in the bigger picture. I get to help them see the property they're interested in purchasing, but I get to help them feel better about the property that they're purchasing at the same time. And that's a really important factor for me because you get to that one moment at the end of the inspection where everybody takes a breath and they're happy that they know stuff.
Yeah.
Whether it's good or bad, however that's going to work itself out, they finally got to through that barrier where they get to know stuff. So I'm empowered by that moment. And I enjoy inspections for the house, but I also enjoy it for the people, obviously.
Yeah. And it shows, the way that you deal with people. I mean, there's a few other inspectors that we work with, and they do things very relationally as well, but you especially take it to, a notch above a lot of other folks. Sure. It's funny because, we're talking beforehand, and there's two different kinds of folks that go into inspections for the most part. They either don't want to get inspections because they're fearful of something getting messed up, or maybe they're just overall scared of inspections, and they know they need to get them, but they're just very fearful of it. And what inspections should do is shine a light on the house so that you know that you know all the ins and outs of it. Now, it's not an x-ray of the house, right? You don't go in behind walls. You don't have a whole house x-ray, but you do a pretty darn good job of looking for signs of trouble, and it gives folks a peace of mind. So we'll start out with this. We'll take maybe 5 to 7 minutes of everybody's time real quick, and I'll ask, why get an inspection?
Sure.
Why, if somebody's like, man, I don't know, somebody just did an inspection a year ago, and why should I? Well, how much does it cost? I want to ask you that first.
Sure.
What's the cost of an inspection?
Okay, well, cost breakdown for the home inspection portion, the way I do it, is up to 2,000 square feet. You're looking at around $350. Then 2,000 to 4,000 square feet is about another $100, $450, and up from there. All the ancillary inspections are about the same no matter who you hire. They're about 130 or so for radon, 100 for termite. If you're going to do septic, well, stucco, all those kind of things, the prices can be discussed and so forth, but they're all about the same pricing no matter who you hire in general. For a standard house with a radon or termite inspection and not any of the other systems, you're looking at about $500 to $600 to $700. And did you want me to move on to what you were saying?
Yeah.
earlier?
So why would they get an inspection?
Yeah. So I get a lot of people who have some knowledge of homes. A great deal of people who have some knowledge of homes. Some of them don't see the value of what a home inspection is about until they get to the end of the inspection. And it's at that time that even people with some knowledge of electrical engineer, let's say, or a plumber or somebody, gets to the end of that inspection, looks back and go, wow, I wouldn't have seen X, Y, or Z had you not helped me see that. Then I realized the value of my job, and they realized the value of the inspection. It's one of those things where if you decide not to do an inspection at all, it's risky. You're taking on everything that house has that's concealed, and you're taking on all the things that you just don't know.
Yeah.
So
it's real risky. I've had folks say to me, an inspection was done last year. I don't think I want. And they even have the reports, and they're like, I don't want to do another. I don't want to spend the $500-600. And I'm like, well, I'm always going to answer. You should do an inspection,
right.
Because the truth is, you don't know what could have happened. And for $500-600, you may find out that there's a $10,000 issue that's popped up in the last year, and you're going to be very thankful that you did inspections. Peace of mind is a huge aspect of that. So tell me, what are some of the most common problems that you find in homes? Like, what are some things that you see?
Sure. And let me just say, and this is sort of the same answer to both questions. Every once in a while, what will happen in a home inspection will be you'll just get the tip of the iceberg, and we'll see something during the inspection. Now, home inspectors do what's called a visual non-destructive home inspection. We would love to be the guy, particularly someone with a contracting background such as myself, to rip open that wall and see where that leak is coming from. That's not our job,
right.
But it starts the process of that job happening one day down the road.
Yep.
So the idea here is that you can see maybe a touch of moisture, see a little bit of mold, and you address that. And now you take the next step, which might be a mold expert, which might be a stucco expert. Now you've opened up the door for the right things to happen on all fronts.
Yeah.
You bring in the experts, and if you had skipped the inspection, and you may not have seen that little bit that would have led to the bigger bit, which would have led. So the biggest problems on a home inspection are going to be the big ticket items are your HVAC systems, your heat and your cooling, the roof system. What's the structure of the basement? Is there any leakage coming in through the basement? The electrical. We open up the panels. We get inside. We look in and see what kind of wiring is. Is it appropriate for the house on a number of different fronts? And certainly the plumbing. We go roof to basement. It's important, as far as I'm concerned, for me to get on the roof. If you're watching live today, then I wouldn't probably get on your roof today, but we would reschedule it for a time when there is no snow or heavy rain. And so we don't want to see mold. We want to see the proper electrical. We want to see certain things with the plumbing that you may not be looking for on a walkthrough, but we're certainly looking for very carefully on a home inspection. When I do a home inspection, I explain every bit of what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. And you have the chance to ask questions of me while we're there. I almost always do home inspections with the buyer. I think it's vital so that they get to touch and see and know what I'm looking at and why. But yeah, I would say that the big ticket items are your heat and your roof and your structure and your foundation and water problems.
Cool. By the way, Lou Weaver says hi.
Hello.
And looks like Becca says hi as well.
Excellent.
And then
Hi,
Tony, I don't know if you're still watching, but I'll say hi to you again. So just getting used to the whole Facebook Live and looking at some comments. So one thought I had was, let me ask it this way: are there any issues that would pop up in an inspection that that a buyer might not be able to overcome?
No.
Okay.
There are none. Yeah, a house can always be fixed. It's just a house. And this is one of the things I enjoy about a home inspection from a contracting background is that I have the ability to see how it might get fixed. We don't always talk about those reasons because that's not my job. As a home inspector, I point out the defects, and then it's upon the selling process to bring in the right contractor to discuss how they choose to fix that particular thing. Because frankly, there's often more than one way to fix something. So my advice may or may not be valuable, but I'll always, be there from a contracting side to answer that. But most importantly, as a home inspector, I'm there to tell you that everything can be fixed.
Yeah.
And that does go down to the big ticket items. I believe we had a question on Facebook about what are the biggest fails, And certainly some of the most expensive items could be a septic system. But it doesn't always mean that it's a $50,000 new field. It just means that there might be something up before that needs to be repaired. But again, it's scary when you receive bad information about your house. It's scary when it's something you don't understand fully. Hopefully during the inspection process, were you to come on it, we would have the opportunity to talk about the scope of it. And certainly the ability to tell you that there's ways of fixing things.
Yeah, it's my opinion that no inspection should ever cause a deal necessarily to fall through because those are issues that somebody that owns the house, you're going to have to deal with those issues.
That's correct.
Especially if they're real true material defects. So it's something if you have a good inspector or good realtors working all around, it shouldn't be an issue. But let me ask you this last question, and we'll wrap this up. How should somebody choose an inspector? Like, how do they know what are the signs they should look for?
Right. So depending on what vein you got the inspector's name, whether it's through Chris or somebody else you trust, you should have that first conversation on the phone with your inspector to find out what it is that he or she is going to do during the inspection process. If there's things that are limited about the inspection, maybe they won't go on the roof, maybe they don't take pictures, I don't know. You have to feel comfortable that inspector both has the expertise and is going to provide you the information you need to know by the end of the inspection. I believe that it comes down to personal relationship at some level, but it also has to be backed by education and experience and that sort of thing.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Great. How do people find you?
KennedyInspections.com.
Okay.
That's probably the easiest way to find me.
All right, cool.
All right.
And of course, if you work with us, he's one of the ones on our list for sure. We really highly value your expertise. Hold on a second. Got a question from Lou Weaver. Do you recommend a pre-inspection for a seller to help with the sale and have time to fix anything that comes up before you put the house up for sale? What's your opinion?
I absolutely do. I would say that it's the least amount of inspections that I do, but I think it's a great idea. And it's a great idea on two fronts. When I come in to do a pre-sale inspection, often, even though you already live in the home, the inspection takes just as long or twice as long to do, simply because I'm now inspecting that home to protect the seller from whomever may come after me. So the buyer could hire any number of inspectors out there who might do a really good job or who might just be crazy and do a 100-page report on nail pops. So the idea behind my inspection is I give the defense provided to the seller to say, look, I've had this inspected. It's not a big deal. Here's my report showing you so. Or for you to preemptively deal with those items before the buyer comes in with their inspector.
Yeah. Different realtors have different opinions on that, so to speak.
Sure.
I'm of the opinion if I were selling my house, I would absolutely want to know what the heck is going on with it before I have somebody go digging and know more than I do. That's my opinion. Other agents have other ones, and we've batted around the idea of doing programs with our team, that like stress less, program or something like that, where we help bring in. We haven't really done much with it at this point, but perhaps it's something that we should do. I believe your brother's watching as well. It looks
good.
like. So, if there's any other questions, we're probably going to wrap this up at the moment. But feel free to comment, and we'll head those over to Ross and have him answer those. And cool, man. Really appreciate you having it on. And if you guys wouldn't mind sharing this video, I'd really appreciate it. Thanks. Till next time. We'll see you. Bye.